Most people believe a tax haven is something exotic, a private island in the Cayman Islands, a numbered account hidden away in Switzerland, a secret privilege reserved for billionaires with a private jet and an army of accountants. When they hear the words, they picture something far away, something slightly illegal, something that has absolutely nothing to do with an ordinary person trying to build a future. But here is the truth that almost nobody talks about. The United Kingdom government hands you your very own, completely legal tax haven every single year. It opens on April 6th. It costs you nothing to claim, and while everyone else leaves it sitting untouched on the table, the wealthy have been quietly using it for decades. It is called the ISA, and by the end of this video, you will understand exactly how to use it to grow your money, without HMRC ever taking a single penny of your profits. We are going to cover what it really is, the one rule that catches everyone out, where the hidden trap lies, and the simple, boring strategy that quietly builds fortunes. So let us start at the very beginning. The single most important thing to understand is this. An ISA is not an investment. Let me say that again, because this one misunderstanding stops thousands of beginners before they ever take a step. An ISA is not a thing you buy. It is not a stock. It is not a fund. It is a box. Think of it like a raincoat. Imagine your money is standing outside in a field, and it is growing taller every year. But there is a permanent storm overhead, and that rain is tax. Every time your money grows, the taxman's rain tries to soak into it. Capital gains rain, dividend rain. A constant drizzle, slowly eroding everything you build. The ISA is the raincoat you wrap around your money. The money inside grows exactly the same way it would outside, but the rain simply rolls off and runs away. The exchequer cannot touch what is sheltered underneath. That is all an ISA really is, a protective box that keeps the taxman dry and your money safe. So whenever you hear cash ISA or stocks and shares ISA, do not think of them as two different investments. Think of them as two different things you can choose to keep inside the very same protective box. Now, the rules, because every gift from the government comes with fine print. Every tax year, you are given an allowance. For the 2025 to 2026 tax year, that allowance is £20,000. That is the absolute maximum you are allowed to tuck inside your ISA raincoat between April 6th and April 5th the following year. Here is the part that quietly costs people the most. This allowance does not roll over. It does not stack. If you only use £5,000 of it this year, you do not magically get £25,000 of space next year. That unused £15,000 simply vanishes at the stroke of midnight on April 5th. Gone. Forever. The government wipes the slate clean, resets you back to £20,000, and last year's shelter is lost for good. Use it or lose it. Remember that date. So which do you keep inside the box? This is where most beginners make a quiet and frankly expensive mistake. A cash ISA feels safe. Your money sits there, earning a little interest, and the number on the screen never falls. It feels responsible. It feels grown up. But let me show you the trap hidden inside that comfort. Imagine your cash ISA pays you 2% interest over the course of a year. It looks like growth. The number went up. But over that exact same year, inflation, the rising cost of your shopping, your bills, your fuel, your rent, runs at 3%. So yes, your money grew by 2%, but the world around it became 3% more expensive. Which means, in real terms, in actual buying power, your money quietly shrank by 1%. You did not keep it safe at all. You lost money safely. It is the most comfortable, most reassuring way to go slowly backwards that has ever been invented. A stocks and shares ISA is a different animal entirely. Instead of cash, you keep investments inside the box. And historically, over the long term, those investments have grown far, far faster than inflation. That is how you make the raincoat genuinely worth wearing. That is how you go forwards instead of standing still. But this is the exact moment beginners panic. I do not know how to pick stocks. What if I choose the wrong company? What if I pour my savings into the next great failure instead of the next great winner? Here is the secret that professional investors quietly rely on. You do not have to pick. There is an old saying in investing, and it is one of the truest things you will ever hear. Do not waste your life hunting for the needle in the haystack. Just buy the entire haystack. You do this with something called a global index fund, or an ETF. Instead of betting everything on one single company, a global index fund buys a tiny slice of thousands of the world's largest businesses, all in one go. Apple, Microsoft, Nestle, Toyota, thousands of them, spread across dozens of countries, packaged together in one simple, effortless purchase. And this is the beauty of it. If one of those companies fails completely, it barely scratches you, because you still own all the others. You are no longer betting on a single horse and praying. You are quietly backing the entire race. Now, why does the raincoat matter so much? Let me show you with real numbers, because this is where it becomes impossible to ignore. Imagine you invest £20,000 inside your stocks and shares ISA. Over the years, it grows beautifully. The snowball rolls. And one day you check your account and it is worth £50,000. That is a profit of £30,000. Now, if that money had been sitting outside the ISA, completely exposed in the rain, HMRC would be waiting patiently with an umbrella and an open hand. They would take a slice of that £30,000 profit through capital gains tax. Then they would take another slice of any dividends you earned along the way. Your reward would be quietly shaved down year after year before you ever truly held it. But inside the ISA, there is no capital gains tax. There is no dividend tax. That entire £30,000 profit is yours, and yours alone, every single penny of it. You could withdraw all £50,000 tomorrow morning and owe the exchequer absolutely nothing. That is the quiet, extraordinary power of the raincoat. And there is one final force that turns all of this from clever into almost magical. It is called compounding, and it rewards one thing above everything else: time. Compounding is a snowball. Picture a tiny snowball at the very top of a long hill. As it rolls, it picks up snow, which makes it bigger, which means it picks up even more snow, which makes it bigger still. Your money behaves in exactly the same way. Your growth earns growth, and then that growth earns its own growth. It starts slow, almost invisibly, and then it becomes unstoppable. Let me show you why starting early matters more than almost anything else you will ever do. Meet two people. Both invest £200 a month. Both earn around 7% a year on average. The only difference between them is when they begin. The first person starts at age 25. The second person hesitates, waits, tells themselves they will start later, and finally begins at age 35. Just 10 years apart. By the time they both reach 65, the person who started at 25 has around £525,000. The person who started at 35 has around £244,000. Read those two numbers again, slowly. 10 extra years of investing did not add a little bit more. It added more than £280,000. And yet that early starter only paid in £24,000, more out of their own pocket. All the rest was pure snowball. Time did the heavy lifting, not money. Time. So how do you actually begin? It is far simpler than the world has led you to believe. Step 1. Choose a platform. This is simply the company that holds your ISA for you and lets you buy your funds. When you compare them, look closely at one thing in particular: the platform fee. That is the small annual charge they take for running your account. Even a fraction of a percent can quietly cost you thousands over a lifetime of compounding. So for a beginner, cheaper is very often better. Step 2. Automate everything. Set up a monthly direct debit that flows straight into your global index fund. And then, and this is the genuinely important part, forget about it. The investors who do best are very often the ones who do absolutely nothing. No panic, no tinkering, no checking the news every morning. Set and forget. Step 3. The classic debate. Do you invest one big lump sum all at once, or a little every single month? For most beginners, drip feeding a fixed amount every month is the calmer, wiser choice. It is called pound cost averaging. When prices are high, your monthly payment buys a little less. When prices are low, that very same payment buys a little more. You stop trying to guess the perfect moment to jump in, and you let time gently smooth out all the bumps for you. Now, an honest word, because anyone who promises you only sunshine is lying to your face. The value of investments can go down as well as up. There will be years when you open your account and the number staring back is lower than the money you put in. That is normal. That is the price of the ticket. The trick is to always remember which game you are actually playing. A stocks and shares ISA is a 10-year game, not a 10-month game. Over 10 months, markets are pure chaos and noise. But over 10, 20, even 30 years, they have historically climbed and climbed. Never judge a marathon by a single stumble in the very first mile. Which brings us to the only lesson that truly matters today. There is an old proverb that fits investing more perfectly than almost anything else. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is right now. The best time to open your ISA was 10 years ago. back when that £20,000 allowance and all those long years of compounding were sitting there quietly waiting for you. You cannot change that. Nobody can. But the second best time, the exact moment that Snowball can finally, at long last, begin to roll, is today. The government has left a perfectly legal tax haven on the table, with your name written on it. The raincoat is yours for the taking. All you have to do is reach out and pick it up. Did you learn something from this video? Don't forget to like and subscribe.